Man. This is a comedy crime film released in 2013 called The Wolf of Wall Street. At the beginning of the film, we see some employees of a brokerage firm playing a game. The boss of the firm is Jordan, the main character of the movie. Ever since he started working on Wall Street, his life changed drastically, and he became a millionaire by the age of 26. Dream of every man. He has an insanely gorgeous wife named Naomi, and I don't think any man in the world, including me who is a woman, can resist the beauty of Margot Robbie, the perfect definition of beauty itself. Jordan spends most of his day doing drugs, having fun with premium partners, and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. According to Jordan, he does enough drugs to sedate the majority of New York's population, but the one drug that he loves the most in the world is money. For him, money is everything. You're not alone, Jordan. We want money too, so people of YouTube, please subscribe because we are broke. Jordan narrates his life story of how he became a millionaire from being the son of a middle-class family. When he was 22, he came to Wall Street to do something big in his life, a common dream that every youngsters dream of. There, Jordan starts working as a broker and meets his boss, Mark. By the end of 6 months, he finally becomes a licensed broker. But on his first day as a broker, the market heavily crashed. Everyone called it Black Monday. Because of the crash, Jordan lost his job. His career ended before he could even start properly. His wife, Teresa, suggests that they should pawn her wedding ring until their situation gets better, but Jordan refuses. And yes, Teresa is Jordan's first wife. One day, Jordan finds a job vacancy at Investor Center, which is merely a small establishment that hardly looks professional. There he meets Dwayne, the man who runs the place. He assigns Jordan to pitch a sale for a company called Aerotine, and if he succeeds, he will receive 50% of the commission. So Jordan calls the client and instantly grabs his attention with the way he pitches it. Jordan successfully sells the stock and earns a huge profit. Yay! After a couple of months, a chubby man named Donnie approaches Jordan and asks him if the Jaguar parked outside belongs to him, to which Jordan says yes. Donnie reveals that they are neighbors and he works selling children's furniture. When Jordan reveals that he made $72,000 the previous month, Donnie instantly calls his boss to tell him that he is quitting and that he will work for Jordan now. Money talks, man. Money talks. One day, while having some drinks, Donnie reveals that he married his cousin because he didn't like the idea of anybody else romancing his cousin. Wow. One day, Jordan and Donnie decide to start their own business at a garage, so Jordan recruits some of his friends. Alden, Chester, Robbie, and Nikki. Jordan also brings along several guys from Investor Center to work for him. They all then start a brokerage firm called Stratton Oakmont. Over time, the firm grows even bigger, and Jordan hires more brokers to work for him. The firm literally becomes the dream company that every broker in the world would love to work at. Their business grows so much that they fall under the radar of the FBI. Even Forbes magazine does a piece on Jordan and calls him the Wolf of Wall Street. One day, while having a party with his friends, Jordan sees Naomi for the first time, who later on will become his wife. One evening, Jordan takes Naomi out for dinner. When they leave for home, Naomi invites him to her apartment for some tea. Jordan is extremely excited to get to her apartment as his dreams are finally coming true. Days pass by and the two eventually get into a relationship. But one night, Teresa catches Jordan red-handed. Oopsie. Teresa is furious at him and starts hitting him like a vase. She breaks down into tears and asks him if he loves Naomi, but Jordan doesn't reply. Instead, he files for divorce 3 days later. Naomi soon moves into Jordan's apartment, and the two have a great time together. One day, Jordan proposes to Naomi, and the two eventually get married. 18 months later, Jordan and Naomi have a daughter together and named her Skylar. One day at work, Jordan gives a powerful speech and reminds all his employees that it doesn't matter whether the stocks they are selling are good or is investigating the sudden rise of Jordan and believes that something fishy is going on. When Jordan learns about this, he invites Denham and his partner, Agent Hughes, onto his yacht. He then tries to bribe them, but the agents aren't interested in the money, as their only goal is to bring Jordan down. Jordan isn't happy with this and mocks the agents by throwing money at them as they walk away. Soon after that, Jordan decides to move his money to offshore accounts so that he doesn't get caught. So he, Donnie, and Rugrat fly to Switzerland to move the money as soon as possible. There they meet Jean-Jacques Sorel, the manager of the bank. Sorel recommends the trio to get someone outside the US to store money in their account. So Jordan travels to England to convince Naomi's Aunt Emma to keep his money for a while. He then flirts with her and tries to kiss her, but she stops him and reminds him that they are family. Control, Jordan. Control. Control, Jordan. Control, Jesus Christ. He then decides to use Brad's Slavic wife, Chantal, to smuggle money in with her family. Later, Donnie goes to give Brad a suitcase full of money to smuggle into the bank, but they get into an extremely stupid argument, which draws the cops' attention. Just then, Donnie drops the briefcase and exposes all the money. While he manages to flee, poor Brad gets arrested by the cops. Later on, Donnie goes to meet Jordan. The two then take some really strong drugs. Just then, someone calls Jordan and tells him to call him from a payphone. So Jordan drives to the country club to use the payphone there. The informer tells Jordan about Brad getting arrested and that Denham has tapped all of Jordan's home and work phones. Just then, Jordan begins to finally feel the effects of the drugs, but he somehow manages to crawl outside and gets into his car. Once he reaches home, he sees Donnie talking to Sorel on a landline. He tries to stop him, but Donnie runs to stuff cold cuts in his mouth and starts choking. Jordan grabs a little vial of coke from a drawer, pours the whole thing into his nose, and then pulls the food out of Donnie's mouth and eventually saves him. Months pass by, and Jordan's growth doesn't seem to stop anytime soon. He celebrates on his yacht right after Brad is released. But Brad subsequently quits doing business in stocks and eventually dies of a heart attack 2 years later. One day, Jordan and Donnie take their wives to Italy to celebrate their success. Just then, Naomi comes crying and tells Jordan that Aunt Emma died of a heart attack. Jordan is devastated, not because she died, but because her account is inaccessible now. 2 years later, Jordan has changed and is sobered up. During the shooting of an infomercial, Denham and other agents arrest Jordan. It turns out that Sorel got arrested in Switzerland for some unknown, unrelated kind of crimes. To save himself, he ended up ratting Jordan out while having a dinner with Rugrat. But Jordan manages to get bail and is placed under house arrest. One day, Jordan and his lawyer meet with Denham and his lawyers. They offer him a deal in which Jordan will have to wear a wire to incriminate the other co-conspirators. But Jordan refuses as he doesn't want to turn on his friends. But Jordan gets another shocker when Naomi tells him that she wants a divorce, as she doesn't love Jordan anymore. On top of that, she is taking their daughter with her. Well, you fall much faster than you can climb. Jordan becomes enraged and hits Naomi in the stomach. He then grabs their daughter and gets in his car to leave. Naomi and the housemaid try to stop Jordan, but he still drives the car out of the garage and crashes it into a post. Skylar is unharmed as she was wearing her seatbelt, but Jordan suffers a head injury. Naomi takes Skylar out of the car and leaves Jordan on his own. Since Jordan doesn't want to lose his daughter, he agrees to set up the wire to bring in his partners. So Jordan returns to his company, where he is welcomed by everyone. He then slides Donnie a note, asking him not to incriminate himself as he is wearing a wire. So Donnie pretends not to remember anything about their illegal activities. Later on, the FBI arrive at Jordan's house to arrest him, as they discover the note he slipped to Donnie. Shortly afterwards, all the co-conspirators are arrested at work. For helping the FBI catch the conspirators, Jordan gets a reduced sentence of 36 months in prison. When Jordan arrives at the prison, he admits that he was terrified when he got there. For a fleeting moment, he says he forgot that he was rich. He had become so accustomed to a life where everything was for sale. After a couple of years, when Jordan is released, he attends a seminar in Auckland, New Zealand. Jordan comes out to the crowd, stands before one man, pulls out a pen and asks him to sell it to him. The man awkwardly starts his pitch before Jordan takes the pen away. He then hands it to another, who is equally awkward. Jordan continues to do the same with more guests, as all the hopeful millionaires watch him, including you. And so this was the story of The Wolf of Wall Street. Don't forget to subscribe for more such interesting movies. See you in the next hunt!